Hello and welcome. My name is Chris Shelton, and I'm coming to you live from the heart of Silicon Valley, San Jose, California, where it's most partly cloudy, a lot of rain, stuff going on, a lot of weather stuff going on. The day after Thanksgiving, and or in my other alternative world, the day after Thanksgiving, actually the day after Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day to everybody. And we're continuing our talk and discussion on relationships. This discussion today, it's actually the yin and yang, the masculine and the feminine. And when we look at yin and yang, there's so many components. In fact, I had a client yesterday ask me, what is yin and yang theory? And yin and yang theory is actually the foundation of all of Chinese philosophy, including Chinese medicine. And a lot of times the common mistake is that just because a man, a lot of times they would consider yang, and a woman they would consider yin, but that's not always the case. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about the structure of the relationships, as well as give you some cultivation practices to nurture your yin and yang energies. But one of the cool things I love about Chinese medicine is that when we go back into the discussion of yin and yang theory, it's not absolute, meaning that yin and yang need to support one another, and one is constantly feeding into the next. And when we look at this theory and we look at this philosophy, what happens is that we have to take a deeper look at what does this mean. Well, number one, what it means is that it's an interconnectedness. And I talked about this on one of our videos a couple of weeks ago, is that relationships, as we have or just celebrate Valentine's Day, relationships should be an interdependency, not a codependency. There's so many relationships out there, whether it's your romantic relationship, a relationship with your parents, a relationship with your friends, your colleagues, your kids. There's so many people that have this codependent relationship. And I'm a big fan of, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or not, but I'm a big fan of things like Al-Anon, because a lot of times if anybody's going through the 12-step program and they have a spouse or family member that's went through it with them, there's a lot of codependency that happens. And so what people need to do is understand that the basic philosophy is that it's an interdependency, meaning that separately you guys are both strong, but then when you come together, you guys both come together and you unify and become one, or you become whole. Now, when we look at the Tai Chi symbol itself, this is from our talk from the video series that we're going to be releasing on the secrets of the face, and what you see here is, and I use the secrets of the face here as an example, but even though there's yin and then there's yang, if you were to take these eyeballs as like the little circles that normally are inside of the yin and yang symbol, what happens is that what that shows is those little circles show that even within yin is the beginning of yang, and even in the beginning, or the fullest of yang, is the beginning of yin. Okay, so they're interconnected. One cannot exist without the other. Just like male and female, masculine and feminine, both have to work together. A lot of times men will do is they like to focus on the yang energy, and really it's the feminine, soft yin energy that's actually much more powerful. So one of the other things about yin and yang theory too, when we talk about its basic principles, is that in yin and yang theory, what we're looking at too is its relativity, meaning that it's not absolute. And that's what's so confusing. And even though we're talking about two extremes of nature, yin and yang, they're not a dualistic way of thinking. And so when I talk about cases of relativity, it's based upon something else. I'll give you an example. Let's just talk about the human body. So your yin would be considered, or your legs would be considered yin to your abdomen, which is considered yang. But then if you were to consider the abdomen to the head, now the abdomen becomes yin, and then the head becomes yang. So what can be kind of confusing sometimes is that when we talk about this philosophy, is that it's all relative to something else. So yin and yang is all relative to something else. And going back to male and female, like I was saying in the opening of our discussion here today, it's not always, even though you're a man, you could actually possess yin qualities. And one of the cool things, and vice versa for women. So one of the cool things about Chinese medicine is that we have so many different tools to diagnose. Like I showed you that little printout there, Secrets of the Face. That's one method of assessment, being able to read a person's face. Did you know that the left side of your face, the left side of your body, is what you hold on the inside, and the right side is what you show to the world? As a matter of fact, if you look at most people's left and right sides of their face, they're not symmetrical. And the reason for that is because what they feel on the inside does not match with what they're projecting out there to the world. So take a look at yourself. Take a look at people around you. And if you want to have fun with this, if you have Photoshop, if you know how to do Photoshop or use Photoshop, take a picture of yourself and then cut the picture in half and take the left side of your face and make two left sides and put them together, and then the right side of your face, make two right sides together, and chances are you're going to see that your face looks totally different between the left, the internal, as well as the external. One of the other ways that we use to assess is that we can actually look at your fingernails. Did you know that when you look at the moons, which are the cuticles on the fingernails, this will tell you if you're a Yang typology and or if you're a Yin typology. And what happens is, besides the cuticles on the thumb, which denotes the strength of the liver, if you have 3 or more cuticles showing at the base of the fingernails on both hands, then that means that you're a Yang type. Besides having the cuticles on the thumb, if you have no cuticles showing on the other fingers, then what that means is that you're a Yin type. So what does that mean? That means that even if you're a man and you're masculine or whatever, very Yang, or you think you're very Yang, this is a good way to tell. This is a very simple form of assessment to tell if you're a Yin type or a Yang type. So even if you think you're this masculine male or whatnot, then what it's actually showing to you is that no, you might have more feminine qualities. And same thing for women. A woman, generally speaking, they say, this is what I talk about relativity to something else. A lot of times they'll say that women are yin in nature, but I know a lot of strong women. In fact, a lot of the women that work on the Chris Shelton Qigong team are very strong women, but they still possess that feminine quality. But also the women too. If you're a feminine type, and if you're a woman, you can actually tell by looking at the cuticles. If you have, like I said, 2 or 3 or more of the moons showing, they call them moons, or the cuticles showing on the fingernails, then what that means is that even though you're a woman, you actually have a lot of Yang energy. And so as time has evolved, what's happened is that we've lost sight of our positions. If you read the newsletter that went out yesterday, and some of these email blasts that we've been sending out, it's understanding your positions, and there's a natural order to things. Yesterday I talked about in my newsletter, I talked about how the animal kingdom definitely shows the proper order to things, and it's not according to man's law, it's according to nature's law, which surpasses man's law. And I think it's great that nowadays we're starting to see more and more women out there taking on what was once considered a man's role. And also men, I'm seeing a lot of men that are also taking on what was once considered a woman's role. And so I think this is great to be able to possess both. You need to be able to possess both, but at the same time too, be able to go back and nurture your Yang typology if you're a man, your Yin typology if you're a woman. So keeping the basic principles of that. I know that for myself, one time we were at one of our friends that plays on the band Nickelback. We're in Las Vegas, and we're waiting for the show to start. It was a late show, and we're having dinner with numerous friends from Los Angeles that flew up to see the show. And one of our colleagues got there a little bit late, and we started talking. And I was talking about myself, and that I know how to sew, I know how to cook. I was a single father, so I had to play Mr. Mom. And what happened was this gentleman actually said to me, he goes, "Oh, so you're more of a woman type or a feminine type?" I said, "Well, I guess you could say that, but the reality is that I learned how to take care of myself at a very young age because of my upbringing. My parents weren't around that much. I had to learn from a very young upbringing that I needed to either step up and learn basic things like learning how to sew. We didn't have a lot of money, so I had to learn how to sew to fix my own pants or fix a hole in a shirt or even make my own stuffed animals. I had to learn how to cook, otherwise I was just eating macaroni and cheese or hot dogs all the time. So even those were considered back in the day a woman trait. I think it's really important for men to possess those traits too, and vice versa. I think it's very important for women to be able to be able to nurture the family, be the mothering type that women are, but also be able to go out there and and be the boss too. I know my wife Parisa likes to play boss, and maybe there's I don't know if that's too much information, but anyways, but yeah, but being able to understand what the root of our existence is, but then also being able to possess what the opposite, and that's the proper explanation or the proper embracing of yin and yin and yang in relationships. And so I would say, like for myself, like I said this in one of our videos, my past two marriages, the problem with it was I was very codependent, and I was very needy, and had all kinds of issues that I ended up working on and finding out the root of it. And what I love about mine and Prisa's relationship is actually we have this interdependent relationship where we feed off of each other. She'll take on some of the roles that I used to do all the time, and I take on some of the roles that you know, would be normally classified as the woman's role. Like I like to do the grocery shopping, and I like to do a lot of the cooking. So what can we do then in order to cultivate our essence to bring us back to our original essence? Well, number one, generally speaking, when we talk about Qigong practices, and Qigong is the root of Chinese medicine, is the root of acupuncture, it's the root of Tai Chi. And when we look at yin and yang inside the body, once again, it's all relative. But a general rule of thumb, if you go to our YouTube page, or if you go to iTunes or to Amazon, you'll see that I have a meditation on there called the White Pearl Meditation. And the White Pearl Meditation, the purpose of that is to root the yin and yang aspects of your kidneys from the strength, from empowering the energy into your lower dantian. So your lower dantian is located about 1 inch below the belly button. And actually in Chinese philosophy, there's 3 dantians. There's the lower dantian, which is your physical essence, your middle dantian, which is your mental emotional essence, and then your upper dantian, which is your spiritual. Now these 3 dantians are 3 of the 7 chakras that we normally see in yoga. Okay, and the difference between Chinese philosophy and Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic thought is that in Chinese medicine, your left side of your body is your yang side, the right side of the body is your yin side. I don't have enough time to go into detail of how that is explained, but there is a deep explanation to why this is. Now, if you study Ayurvedic, they have it the other way around, or yoga, they say that the left side is yin and the right side is yang. So let's say that the left side is feminine, the right side is masculine. But in Chinese philosophy, like I was saying, they actually, through study, through thousands of years of study, have shown that the left side of the body is actually the yang side, right side is yin. So if you're a man and you know you have excessive yang energy, that you want to contain that yang energy. So when you're doing the White Pearl Meditation, you do this White Pearl Meditation from a seated, standing, or lying down position. And if you're doing it from a lying down position, what you're going to do is you're going to want to contain the yang energy. So what's going to happen is that you're going to place the right foot over the left foot if you're laying down. You're going to place the left hand over the lower abdomen, right hand above it. And what's going to happen is that as you do this White Pearl Meditation, you're going to envision that there's a white pearl. And then this white pearl expands as you inhale. Then as you exhale, you're going to imagine that the energy fills up the left and the right kidneys. Okay, so over and over again, either with the guided meditation that we have on iTunes or on our website, or just by imagining the meditation as I'm speaking about it right now, you're just going to imagine that the white pearl fills up inside the lower dantian as you inhale. And then as you exhale, filling up and restoring the vitality of the left and right kidney. And by the way, the left kidney is yin, which is the basis for all your fluids, and the right kidney is yang, which is the basis for all the heat and the transformational processes inside the body. Now, if you're a woman and you have excessive yin energy, then what you want to do is you want to contain that, so then you'll just switch it around. The right hand goes on the lower dantian, 1 inch below the belly button. The left foot covers over the right leg, and then you place the left hand over the lower dantian, and once again, imagining as you inhale, this mystical white pearl that expands, And then as you exhale, collecting the energy from the space around you, then this energy restores the vitality of the kidneys on the low back. So you would inhale, and then as you exhale, filling up the kidneys on the low back, okay? So restoring the vitality, restoring your physical essence. And by the way, just as a side note too, your kidneys, your left and right kidney, your kidneys are responsible for your overall longevity and how long your life will be, meaning like how strong your constitution is. So at the time of conception, between God, your parents, nature, and your environment, it's like a cup, it's like a well, and so it predetermines how well you fight off disease and also how well you fight off stress. And so like this battery, like a regular Duracell battery or something, this energy will naturally decline with age. So this simple white pearl meditation is supposed to help to restore. Now you won't be able to fill your battery back up to where it was at the time of birth, but it can help slow down the aging process. Okay, so it's such a simple practice to do to help to contain your excesses. Okay, so that's the first practice. Now the next practice that I want to show you is a standing cultivation practice. So for men, what you're going to do is you're going to stand pigeon-toed. I'm going to gently bend my knees, tuck my sacrum underneath. When I tuck my sacrum underneath, I'm elongating the lower lumbar of the spine, pressing back the Ming Men. My tip of the tongue is gently curled to the roof of the mouth behind the teeth, as if saying the letter N. Gently tucking the chin, pressing up at the crown point. And what's going to happen is that I'm going to hold my arms like I'm holding a ball. I want it to have the fingers spread and have about 2 inches between, about 2 inches between the hands. And what you're doing is at this point here, this acupuncture point here, this is called your Lao Gong point. And what's going to happen is on the pericardium channel. What's going to happen is you're going to face that Lao Gong point here. And then as you inhale and then exhale, you relax the body. But as you inhale, you imagine golden light from the earth filling up from the feet all the way through the body beyond the top of the head. And exhale, nurturing the masculine energy. And exhaling, just feel that. Okay, so each time you inhale, you're just going to allow for this golden light to race up from the earth, flowing through the legs, through the hips, through the abdomen, through the chest, beyond the top of the head. And then as you exhale, settling this golden light into the tissues. So you're packing this golden light into the tissues. Okay, now for women, what's going to happen is that we're going to stand. This is a little bit different, but what's going to happen is it might be tricky for some people. So you can even sit and do this as well too. But what's going to happen is that you're going to take your right foot and you're going to place that heel right next to the big toe of the left foot. So they're trying to get a shot here.
Turn, quarter turn.
Quarter turn? I feel like I'm my curtsy. Okay, did you get it? Okay, cool. All right, so what's going to happen here is that I have my left foot here, and then I'm going to have the heel of the right foot touching the big toe of the left foot. And then I'm going to take, in the universal standing hand posture here, I'm going to take my fist, soft fist, bring the thumbs together here into the heart center. Now, once again, what's going to happen is I will close my eyes and then feel the energy as it comes up through the body, beyond the top of the head. Okay, and you do this over and over again. So as you inhale, what's going to happen is that you're going to go ahead and feel that energy race up through the body, the golden light beyond the top of the head. Then as you exhale, allow that golden light to fill up the tissues, saturating the tissues of the body, nurturing the feminine energy. This is the standing cultivation position for women. Okay. All right. So a very simple practice to do, and then you can finish these practices by pulling down the heavens 3 times, inhaling, exhaling, inhale, and exhale. All right, so that's the second practice. Now, let's say you have somebody toxic in your life, or you're going into a situation that's uncomfortable for you, or you just feel like something's off. Like maybe you're getting inside the car, you're going for a long road trip, and something just doesn't feel right. One of the, for some people, they'll make the sign of the cross, right, which is great to do. But another practice you could do is you could actually draw out that Tai Chi symbol, and what will happen is that you take the middle finger and the index finger, and what's going to happen is that I'm going to make a circle, and like I'm drawing out the Tai Chi symbol, they're making the dots for the Yin and Yang contained within the Yin and Yang. And this is just another simple practice to do to help to protect yourself. A lot of times before I go into clinic, actually, I do this before I'm working on clients, or I actually do this before eating something, especially if it's something that maybe I'm not sure about the energy of it. I will do this just to bless the food, make it safe, wholesome, etc. So that's another practice you can do. But if you have a toxic relationship, or if you have toxic people in your life, a simple practice to do is to break the cord. Now, one way to do it is you could go ahead and inhale. You would face the east. So you'd face the east, inhale through the nose, and then facing towards the west, exhale through the mouth, releasing out that negative person, that negative circumstance, whatever. So again, we would inhale, pulling the energy in through the nose as we face the east. And then as we exhale, okay, so another simple practice to do. Now, a lot of times I have clients, and I've experienced this myself too, where you've had, let's say, an intense romantic relationship with somebody, or it's been a long time relationship, and you still feel that person, like you still feel them, whatever they're thinking of you, and you can't seem to get them out of your mind. And especially once you have sexual relationships with somebody, then you really develop a cord. So the next practice that I give to people also, in order to help to disconnect from those negative feelings, or to help to break the cord that you have with that person, is very simple. And what's going to happen is I'm going to take my left hand and I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to imagine the person, and I'm going to pull my cord, inhaling, pulling my cord back into me, and then as I exhale, releasing their cord back to them. And as I do this, I'm going to breathe. So I'm going to inhale, giving their cord back to them. Inhale, exhale from your heart center. Now, as you're letting them go, you want to imagine them just floating away. You don't want them floating away and smashing into the wall. It's kind of counterproductive for the practice. But at least imagine that you're pulling your cord back, and then you're giving their cord and their energy back to them. And what you're doing is that you're setting a boundary. You're setting an energetic boundary to help to let go of this person in a healthy way. And believe it or not, you could try this. And what may happen is, as you do it more and more, because doing it once is probably not going to do it, so you're going to probably have to do this a lot. But as you do this, and the other person, even if you're not talking to them, may all of a sudden feel like, oh, there's a disconnect. What's going on? And they may reach out to you, call you, or stop by, and that's normal. So make sure you have your boundaries set as to what's acceptable and what's not. And really, it's about what we've been talking about this whole time. It's really about protecting your energy, right? And having these healthy relationships. So one last time, I'm going to inhale, pull my cord back to me, exhale, and give it back to the person for which had the cord, I had the cord attached to. So, okay. So just to wrap up here, I give you a few different practices. We're talking about Yin and Yang theory, and we're talking about how Yin and Yang is related back into relationships. How the left side of the body is Yang, the right side of the body is Yin. I gave you a simple way to assess whether you're a Yang type or a Yin type just by looking at your fingernails, so looking at the cuticle on the fingernails. We gave you the standing cultivation practice for men and for women. I gave you the white pearl meditation, but being very specific as far as the hand position goes. Okay, and then also here, I give you this practice to let go of negative energy, where you inhale from the east through the nose, exhale, face towards the west, releasing the negative energy. Also, too, I gave you a very simple blessing practice, which is making the Tai Chi symbol, And then last but not least, regaining your power again and pulling your cord back, and then gently and peacefully giving the cord and energy back to the person that you need to let go of. So here we go. I hope you enjoyed my practices that I shared with you today. And, once again, happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to share with you guys these simple little practices with profound results. And from my heart to yours, may you have a happy Valentine's Day, and I will see you later.